it just never ends, does it, Falcons fans? Welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and if you're watching this, Diana Rossini and basically every other NFL talking head thinks that Kevin Stefanski is going to be the next head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. And the reason I say that is because the Falcons expedited their interview, their second interview with Kevin Stefanski, who apparently has been working together to put a potential coaching staff to present to Matt Ryan and the Falcons front office. Then Adam Schefter came out, said the same thing. They were calculating, arranging this interview, moving it up ahead. First Kevin Stefanski so that he could go and interview with some other teams. And why is this important? After yesterday's report about Robert Saleh from Ricky Scoops and this, that, and the other, it now seems like the Falcons have pivoted off of that idea. And now Kevin Stefanski seems to be the front runner for the Falcons head coaching job. And look, I don't like flip-flopping as often as this seems to be happening. I'm reacting to the news as it comes in just like you guys. I'm a YouTuber. So when I get reports, I talk about those reports. So I do believe that now you are seeing Kevin Stefanski, probably the odds-on favorite to become the next head coach of the Dirty Birds. And I'm going to break down why I think that's foolish, but ultimately why we can't really do anything about it if it happens. Now, before that, I've got a question for you. If you love nonstop Atlanta Falcons content off the YouTube platform, we just started a brand new Instagram that I made literally like 3 days ago. We've already had 230 loyal Falcons fans hit that follow button. Our goal today is to hit 300. So if you go to Falcons Today IG and click that follow button, you will get the very latest surrounding the Dirty Birds away from YouTube and my unfiltered opinion, like I have a filter, basically on social media and kind of like what I think about certain things about the Atlanta Falcons. Let's talk about Kevin Stefanski's qualifications because as much as I've gone through a little bit about what Kevin Stefanski is, I feel like there hasn't been too much of a deep dive because personally, I don't want Kevin Stefanski to be my head coach over the likes of Clint Kubiak or over the likes of, the John Harbaughs of the world. He was like third or fourth on my list. Do I think he is a good coach? Yes. Do I think that he is a great coach? No. But he is 43, so he's still young enough. He has the ability to retain Jeff Ulbrich, and, he is an offensive-minded head coach. So we can't be too picky about this, if you will, but I also think we can be a little picky. I know I'm not making a lot of sense, but I think my ultimate takeaway here is that I don't want you to settle, and this feels like you're settling. And I don't even love the way he looks in Falcons red. I'm going to be completely honest. It just doesn't really wet my whistle, giggity. But, like I told you before, I do think he is a good coach. I don't think he's good enough to bring a team a championship. This is the equivalent of like you're going after the girl of your dreams and she breaks your heart, and then you look around the bar and there's a girl that's giving you the eyes and she's cute, but you're like, she's nice, but screw it, I'm lonely. So I'm going to go for her. And then you end up marrying her. And maybe that relationship works out great. But that's kind of what this feels like. This feels like the 1:45 a.m. girl at the bar that you're just like, screw it. I just need to go home with somebody tonight. But the overall goal is to win a championship, right? The overall goal is to go out and hoist the Lombardi Trophy at the very end of the year. And I don't think Kevin Stefanski is that kind of coach. Because the NFL team goals after you hire a coach, right, are first step, make the playoffs. Second step, okay, now that we've made the playoffs, maybe as a wild card, you got to win the division. And then you got to be yearly Super Bowl contenders. So year in, year out, be contending for it, and then, of course, win the damn thing. Those are the 4 steps in a nutshell of basically being an NFL team. And I don't think Kevin Stefanski could get back or past step 2. I think he could win the division. Don't get me wrong. This is a very easily winnable division. I think Kevin Stefanski can win the division. Hell, he did it with the Browns. But is that enough to be considered the odds-on favorite? Like, why are we settling for this? Unless the interviews with Kubiak aren't going nearly as well as we thought. Because eventually it comes down to, does the candidate want to come to Atlanta? I don't know why you wouldn't. Matt Ryan, new president of football operations. You're getting a new GM. It's the only GM opening in the entire damn league. You've got plenty of opportunities to really right the wrongs that you've done in years prior in this organization, and it just does not feel like Kevin Stefanski is that pop coach. I don't know that it makes a whole lot of sense. Because what about him screams great? 2-time head coach of the year winner? Yeah, but where did that get the Browns? They won a playoff game. Okay? And then they moved off of Baker Mayfield, and they signed Deshaun Watson, and they do this, they do that, and nothing materialized other than, hey, he's got it on his resume now. Great, you won 2-time head coach of the year award winner, but you've had 8 combined wins in the last 2 seasons. Something screams to me that this is a settle hire. It is. Ultimately, is he better than Raheem Morris? Obviously. Is he better than Arthur Smith? Duh. Is he better than Dan Quinn? I don't know. I don't know. I know what I've seen so far from the Browns, though. A terrible offensive line, brutal quarterback mismanagement, specifically this year. You had no offensive weapons outside of running back. And then, of course, you had the entire Deshaun Watson situation. Okay, fine. That wasn't Kevin Stefanski's call, right? Haslam gave him the contract. But your job as the head coach of an NFL organization is to get the best out of your players. And Kevin Stefanski the last 2 seasons did not. So that's why I would say no. I don't want Kevin Stefanski as my next head coach. I don't. Would I accept it? Of course. Is it better than Raheem? Obviously. But I'm still penciling in my no. Now, coming up, I'm going to tell you what Kevin Stefanski can bring in terms of a schematics standpoint. What kind of offensive scheme does he bring in? And there might be a little bit of a silver lining here in my upcoming explanation. But before we do that, I got to tell you about my friends over at Factor Meals. 2026 is here. I can't believe I'm actually saying that out loud. It sounds crazy. And if you got New Year's and big goals but still no time to cook, Factor makes it easy with fully prepped meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs so you can eat well without the shopping or the cooking. Choose from 100 rotating weekly meals with options including high protein, calorie smart Mediterranean diet, and GLP-1 support options with ready-to-eat salads. Plus, the new Muscle Pro collection supports strength and recovery. You got no refined sugars, you got no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils, meals that fit your goals and your schedule with healthier eating, calorie management, and more protein. So do me a favor, head to factormeals.com/FalconsChat50 off and use code FalconsChat50 off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer is only valid, by the way, for new Factor customers with code and all qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with our friends at Factor. So his offense, I'm going to break it down for you here. It's wide zone concepts. He likes those wide zone running schemes and wide zone passing schemes. He really likes to spread out his offense. You also get multiple rotating tight end sets, which is good because that's one thing that's a hallmark of offenses in 2025 that I believe you have to have. You have to run more 13-man personnel. And he also does those wider wide receiver splits. Yahoo Sports did a really good job of surmising what Kevin Stefanski's offense actually looks like from a schematic standpoint. Stefanski deliberately chooses concepts to run in response to the fronts the offense sees. Stefanski and the coaches pride themselves on a varying run game. The Browns usually rank in top 5 in gap concept frequency. The Browns keep teams guessing on which lineman they'll pull. So if that sounds like a whole lot of mumbo jumbo, here's basically what you need to know. It's very similar to what Kubiak runs in Seattle. Believe it or not, it's a very baseline similar scheme. The difference between the two is that I believe that Kubiak is far more creative in his play calling than Kevin Stefanski is. Because, Kevin Stefanski's a offensive mind, but is he an elite play caller? No, I don't think that he is. Now, he did have a lot of backing in the Browns locker room. There were a ton of players that did not want to see him leave, and there's no doubt that he had buy-in from a large amount of veterans in that locker room. The younger guys like Shador, not so much. But David Njoku is set to hit the free agency market, so this could actually be a plus here. If Njoku is one of those veterans banging the table for Stefanski to say, he might go and sign with the Dirty Birds. And also, that also means that Kyle Pitts re-signing is more on the table now that you would run more dual tight end sets. But David Njoku, more specifically, did not have nearly as good of a season as he should because of the onset of Harold Fannin, the rookie out of Bowling Green, who seems to be now the number one. So we can say two things at the same time. Yes, we would love to see David Njoku come to Atlanta, but I also think that his 800, 900-yard receiving years are kind of behind him. He's probably going to be more somewhere between 500 and 700 yards for the remainder of his career. Back to Stefanski for a second. My problem is the lack of creativity. His overall offensive scheme is not the problem. What he runs is very similar to what Kyle Shanahan would run, Sean McVay would run, Kubiak runs. It's a very good baseline offensive system. The problem is where most guys separate themselves as excellent play callers is the ability to keep other defenses guessing. And I don't think Kevin Stefanski does that. I think he's got his system, kind of like Zach Robinson, albeit it's a better system, and just is like, this is what we're going to run, and it should work against pretty much everybody in the NFL. That's great, and against the bad defenses that works, but against good defenses that switch up the scheme, it's not going to work. So again, that's why I pound the drum for Kubiak. The creativity in that play calling is there. And then, of course, Ricky Scoops came out, and this is the kiss of death, in my opinion, if you don't want Kevin Stefanski, is that Ricky came out and said, sounds like Kevin Stefanski is going to be the next coach of the Falcons. And Connor Hughes was the first one on that, by the way, as well, doing some major hinting at the Falcons going out and hiring Kevin Stefanski. And if they do hire Stefanski, or if they hire Kubiak, or if they hire Saleh, obviously, keep your eye on this playoff game that's coming up later tonight between the Seahawks and the 49ers. If we do hire someone within the next 48 hours, 72 hours, we're going to go live. So subscribe to the channel and click that little bell icon. That's all I got for you today on today's episode. I wish it was better news, Falcons fans, but I'm reacting to it just like you guys are. Make sure that you do go follow us over on Instagram. Help us hit 300 followers on Insta, Falcons Today IG. All of that's going to be in the comments and description of today's video for you. My name is Moose. Until next time, I'll be back tomorrow with some more thoughts and analysis surrounding the Dirty Birds. Rise up and be cool.